When I first was introduced to faith, it was definitely more of a rules-based situation for me. I heard all these stories and testimonies of people being like, I used to do this and then I met Jesus and now I don't. And that just wasn't my story at all. So then I got deep into alcohol and drugs and women and trying to find whatever I could to kind of fill that spot that I know belongs to God. And in the process, I became very, very lost. I got arrested, and that was my first kind of impact of like, I have a road to choose. I had already had a roommate and set my deposit in to go to a state school. But God so desired me to be at SPU that even while I wasn't actively following him, he was just pressing on me like, this is where you need to be. The Gospel Center community within SPU is evident in everything that they do. I had never in my life before been surrounded by people who were my age, who were struggling but saw it, called it out, and then brought it to the light in a way that was loving and kind and patient. The teachers and the professors at SPU were some of the best mentors that I've had. They just cared for me, they knew where I was at and loved me and were always there encouraging me. And what I saw was relationship. And the amazing thing that I found was the more that I was seeking Jesus, the more that I was spending time in the Word, the more that I was spending time in prayer and in Gospel Center community, the more those things just went away. Through my time at SPU, I just grew and matured. By the time that I graduated, I was proclaiming the gospel wherever I was, totally radically changed and wanting to give my life to Jesus more and more every day. SPU created that community that allowed both me to be mentored and then me to continue to mentor and be a disciple maker. A few years ago, I was introduced to Twitch.tv. At the time, I didn't really understand live streaming or gaming. There's 240 million active users on Twitch today. And this is where they live. This is where their community is. What I found there was actually really horrifying. I just said out loud, I said, man, somebody needs to do something about this. I felt deep in my soul, like the Holy Spirit whispering to me, well, you're somebody. When I share my story online, there are so many men who said, man, I'm struggling right now, and I thought I was the only one. And there are so many people who feel that way.
Be a part of the community. We'd love to walk alongside you, live life with all of you.
What started as just God putting one seed in one person is now thousands of people being impacted with the gospel online, and it's amazing. It's all about, for me, sharing the good news in light of what God has done in my life. Starting at SPU, which was radically changing me, which was giving me a transformed heart, new desires. If I never went to SPU, I don't know if I would have ever grown up. I wouldn't have this ministry and this purpose that God has given me, which has given me life and joy and abundance in Him.